Welcome, explorers of the unknown. Before we dive into the most chilling signals ever detected from space, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you never miss a journey beyond the stars. What you're about to hear may challenge everything you thought you knew about the universe. Strange bursts, repeating signals, and mysterious cosmic patterns are waiting for you. Stay with us and let the story unfold. Space is often described as silent, but that silence is misleading. When we point our instruments toward the stars, we don't hear nothing. We hear whispers, bursts, pulses, signals that appear without warning and disappear just as quickly. For decades, astronomers believed most of these signals were random, natural noise, the background hum of the universe, until some of them didn't behave naturally. Some signals arrived stronger than expected, some repeated, and some appeared only once, never to return. One of the most unsettling aspects of these signals is their timing. They don't arrive gradually. They don't fade in or out. They simply appear as if someone briefly turned on a transmitter and then switched it off. In many cases, scientists had only seconds to react, missed the moment, and the signal was gone forever. What makes these signals frightening is not just their power, but their precision. Many follow mathematical patterns. Some occur at frequencies rarely produced by known cosmic events. Others come from locations in space where nothing visible exists. No star, no galaxy, no obvious source, just a signal. Throughout history, humanity has searched the skies for signs of intelligence. But what if intelligence doesn't announce itself clearly? What if it speaks in fragments, testing, observing, waiting? Some researchers believe these signals are not messages, but probes. Others think they could be warnings, or echoes of technologies far older than our own. And then there is the most disturbing possibility. What if these signals were never meant for us to understand, only to confirm that we are being noticed? As we continue listening to the universe, one truth becomes harder to ignore. The cosmos is not quiet, and not everything that speaks wants to be heard. In the next episode, we will examine the most famous signal of all, a signal so strange, so brief, and so perfectly timed that it still has no explanation. On August 15th, 1977, something happened that still has no explanation. A radio telescope scanning the sky detected a signal so strong, so precise, and so unexpected that it stood out instantly from the cosmic noise. It came from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius and lasted exactly 72 seconds. Then it vanished. This signal did not repeat. It did not weaken gradually. It did not behave like anything astronomers had seen before. The astronomer reviewing the data, Jerry Eman, was so shocked that he circled the signal on the printout and wrote a single word in the margin. Wow! That note gave the signal its name. What made the wow signal terrifying was not just its strength, but its characteristics. It appeared on a very narrow frequency, one that scientists had long considered ideal for intelligent communication, a frequency unlikely to be produced by natural cosmic events. The signal rose sharply, peaked, and then faded away. exactly as if a transmitter had passed briefly across Earth's listening range. For decades, scientists searched for it again. They never found it. No follow-up signal, no confirmation, no source. Every known explanation failed. It was not a satellite, not an aircraft, not a known astronomical object. Later theories suggested comets or cosmic interference, but none fully matched the original data. The most unsettling part is this. If the signal was intentional, it may have been aimed elsewhere and Earth simply crossed its path. Or worse, it may have been directed at us only once to see if anyone was listening. If that is true, then the silence that followed is far more disturbing than the signal itself, because something spoke and then chose not to speak again. In the next episode, we will explore signals that did not stay silent, signals that returned again and again, repeating from deep space in ways that challenge everything we know about the universe. After the wow signal, scientists believed such an event would never happen again. They were wrong. Years later, radio telescopes began detecting something even more unsettling. Signals that repeated, not continuously, not randomly, but just often enough to suggest intention. These signals were extremely brief, lasting only milliseconds, yet unimaginably powerful. In that fraction of a second, they released more energy than the sun produces in an entire day. They were named fast radio bursts. At first, they appeared only once and vanished forever. Each burst was like a cosmic knock on the door, gone before anyone could answer. Then one of them returned. In 2012, astronomers identified a source that emitted multiple bursts from the exact same location in space. The signal repeated again, and again, and again. This should not have been possible. Explosions do not repeat. Collisions do not reset. Dead stars do not speak twice. Yet this signal did. It came from a distant galaxy billions of light years away, passing through vast regions of space filled with magnetic fields and cosmic matter. By the time it reached Earth, it carried distortions, marks of a long journey through structured environments. Not chaos. Structure. Some scientists proposed exotic explanations, highly magnetized neutron stars, unknown stellar mechanisms, extreme cosmic conditions. But others noticed something else. The repetitions were irregular, but not random. There were pauses, gaps, moments of silence between bursts, almost like waiting, almost like listening. Even more disturbing, some repeating signals suddenly stopped. No warning, no gradual decline. Just silence, as if the source had gone offline, or moved, or decided it had been heard enough. If these signals are natural, they challenge our understanding of physics. If they are artificial, they challenge our understanding of our place in the universe. Because repetition implies purpose, and purpose implies intelligence. In the next episode, we will turn our attention back toward Earth, to strange patterns that appear silently overnight, as if something from above is leaving marks behind. Marks we were never meant to notice. Not all signals come through radio waves. Some appear much closer. In the early morning hours, farmers in quiet rural areas began to notice something strange. Fields that had been untouched the night before were suddenly transformed. Crops were pressed into complex patterns, circles, spirals, symbols stretching across vast areas. They were called crop circles. At first, they were simple, easy to dismiss, but over time they became more precise, more complex. Some contained mathematical ratios, geometric perfection, and symmetry difficult to achieve even in daylight. What disturbed researchers was not just the designs, but the condition of the plants themselves. The stalks were not broken, they were bent, heated, and softened from the inside, as if exposed to a sudden burst of energy. In some cases, soil samples showed unusual magnetic changes. Tiny metallic particles were found embedded in the crops. Compasses behaved erratically near the formations, and then there was the timing. Most appeared overnight. No witnesses, no tracks, no sound. Some formations appeared near ancient sites aligned with the stars. Others appeared close to radio observatories, as if intentionally placed where someone was listening. Skeptics argued they were human-made, elaborate hoaxes, and some were, but others showed a level of precision and speed that raised uncomfortable questions. If these were messages, they were not sent through space. They were written on Earth itself. And unlike radio signals that vanish into silence, these marks remained waiting to be found, studied, argued over, almost as if whoever made them wanted us to see them, but not understand them. Because a message doesn't need to be clear to be effective, sometimes confusion is the message. In the next episode, we will return to the darkness of deep space to sounds so powerful and so unnatural that when translated into human hearing, they become deeply unsettling. Sounds that should never exist. For a long time, space was thought to be silent. Not metaphorically silent, literally silent. Sound needs air, and space has none. So when scientists began converting space data into audible frequencies, they expected nothing more than abstract noise. What they heard instead was disturbing. Low, deep vibrations, rumbling tones, echoes that felt less like sound and more like movement. Some of these recordings came from regions near black holes, objects so dense that not even light can escape them. When their data was translated into sound, the result was unsettling, a slow, haunting resonance that pulsed like a distant heartbeat. Not chaotic, not random, rhythmic. Other recordings revealed sudden spikes, sharp, violent bursts of energy that sounded like cosmic screams when played through speakers. These bursts did not last long, but their intensity suggested extreme forces at work. The unsettling part was not the sound itself. It was the realization that these phenomena had been happening long before we ever listened. For billions of years, the universe had been active, vibrating, shifting, releasing energy completely unnoticed. Some researchers described a feeling of unease when listening to these recordings, a sense that the sounds were not meant for human ears, that translating them felt like crossing a boundary, as if we were overhearing something private, something massive, something indifferent to our existence. And yet, among these deep tones and violent bursts, patterns began to emerge, repetitions, cycles, frequencies that appeared again and again across vast distances, not messages, but signals, and signals imply sources. In the next episode, we will explore one of the most disturbing discoveries of all. Signals that appear to come from nowhere at all. No stars, no galaxies, no visible origin, only darkness. Some of the most frightening signals ever detected did not come from stars. They did not come from galaxies. They came from places where nothing should exist. Astronomers began noticing brief flashes of energy arriving from what appeared to be empty regions of space. No visible object, no known source, just darkness. At first, these detections were dismissed as errors, faulty equipment, interference, human mistakes, but the signals kept appearing. Different instruments, different locations, same result, a burst of energy, precise and powerful, emerging from nothing we could see. What made these signals even more unsettling was their isolation. Most cosmic events are surrounded by activity, light, radiation, movement. These signals arrived alone, stripped of context, as if something was transmitting from a place deliberately hidden. Some researchers suggested exotic explanations, collapsed objects we cannot observe, dimensions we cannot perceive, or phenomena beyond current physics. Others noticed something more disturbing. The signals seemed to avoid crowded regions of space. They came from cosmic voids, vast areas almost completely empty, stretching for millions of light. Why transmit from emptiness? One theory proposed that whatever produced these signals used the voids as camouflage. No background noise, no interference, just clean, uninterrupted transmission. If that is true, then these signals were not accidental. They were placed, and placement implies awareness. Awareness of space, awareness of distance, awareness of observers, which raises an uncomfortable question. What if these signals were not meant to announce presence, but to test detection, to see who was listening, and more importantly, who was capable of hearing? In the next episode, we will examine signals that did something even more unsettling. They changed, as if adapting, as if responding. Most natural signals behave the same way every time. They follow rules, they decay, they repeat predictably, but some signals did not. As monitoring technology improved, researchers noticed something unsettling. Certain signals began to change over time, not in strength alone, but in structure. Their frequencies shifted, their patterns adjusted, their timing evolved. At first, these changes were subtle, easy to ignore. But as years passed, comparisons revealed something impossible to dismiss. The signals were not static. They were adapting. Some bursts arrived slightly earlier than expected. Others altered their frequency range, avoiding known sources of interference. A few even appeared to wait, re-emerging only after long periods of silence. Natural explanations struggled to keep up. Stars do not adapt. Radiation does not learn. Physics does not experiment. And yet, the signals behaved as if they were responding to observation itself, as if being watched. Changed them? One theory suggested interaction with cosmic environments. Another blamed unknown physical laws. but none could explain the consistency of change across different regions of space. More disturbing was the realization that some signals only changed after Earth's detection capabilities improved, as if something noticed we were listening more carefully. If intelligence exists beyond Earth, it would not need to speak in words. It could communicate through adjustment, through reaction, through silence followed by change. A conversation does not require language, only awareness. In the next episode, we approach the final question, one that turns the fear inward. What if these signals are not distant? What if they are closer than we think? For most of human history, the unknown felt far away, beyond the stars, beyond the planets, beyond reach, but some signals challenged that sense of distance. Certain detections did not originate from deep space. Their source appeared closer, uncomfortably close within, our own cosmic neighborhood, not from distant galaxies, but from regions near our solar system. At first, this idea was dismissed. Nearby space is well mapped, monitored, understood, or so we believed. Some signals showed minimal distortion, meaning they had not traveled far. Others arrived with a clarity that suggested short distances, as if they were not crossing vast cosmic obstacles. Even more unsettling, a few signals appeared to shift position, not following predictable orbital path. They moved in ways that did not match known objects. Not drifting, maneuvering. This raised a terrifying possibility. What if the most mysterious signals are not ancient echoes from distant stars, but something active, something present? Some researchers quietly questioned whether certain detections could be artificial objects, observing silently, transmitting briefly, then going dark again, listening without responding, watching without revealing themselves. If intelligence exists closer than we expect, it would have no reason to announce itself loudly. Silence would be safer. Short signals would be enough to confirm observation. And that may be the most disturbing thought of all. Not that something is trying to reach us, but that something has already arrived and is simply waiting. In the next episode, we will confront the question scientists avoid asking out loud. What if these signals are not messages, but warnings? Messages are not always meant to inform. Sometimes they are meant to stop you. As scientists reviewed decades of unexplained signals, a troubling pattern began to emerge. Certain detections shared similarities. Despite originating from vastly different regions of space, similar frequencies, similar timing, similar abrupt endings, almost like a template. Unlike random cosmic noise, these signals carried a sense of urgency. They appeared suddenly, dominated the background, and then vanished, leaving long periods of silence behind. Some researchers began to wonder if these signals were not invitations, but boundaries. In nature, warnings are simple. Bright colors, loud sounds, sudden movements. They do not explain themselves. They exist to be noticed. What if some cosmic signals serve the same purpose? Short, powerful, impossible to ignore. Not saying, come closer, but do not proceed. There is a disturbing idea shared quietly among a few theorists. Advanced civilizations may choose silence as a survival strategy. Revealing one's location in the universe could be dangerous. Broadcasting openly could attract attention from something far worse. If that is true, then sudden bursts and brief signals may act as deterrents, reminders that someone is already present and watching. Perhaps these signals are not meant for us at all. Perhaps they are meant for others, and we are only overhearing fragments of a larger conversation, one we were never supposed to detect. A conversation about territory, about boundaries, about danger, which leads to a final, chilling thought. What if the greatest warning is not the signals themselves, but the silence that follows? Because silence may mean a decision has already been made. In the final episode, we will step back and confront the most unsettling possibility of all, one that changes how we see every signal we have ever detected. After decades of listening, recording, and analyzing, one thing has become painfully clear: the universe is not empty. It is full of signals, pulses, bursts, messages we barely understand. Some brief, some repeating, some adapting to our observation, and yet we still cannot answer the simplest question. Why? Why do these signals exist? Who or what is sending them? Are they invitations, warnings, or something else entirely? The most unsettling pattern is not in the signals themselves, but in the silence that surrounds them. Every brief flash, every repeating pulse, is followed by a void, vast, cold, and indifferent. A pause that stretches across light years. Some scientists suggest the signals are tests, to see if we are capable of detecting intelligence beyond our world. Others fear they are warnings that something powerful is already aware of us, and silence is its first and last communication. Even the crop formations we have found on Earth, the circles, the spirals, the patterns bending in impossible ways, may not be art, but a form of interaction, a quiet signal encoded in our world, placed where someone can find it. What do these signals want? What do they expect? We cannot know, but the evidence, the patterns, the anomalies, all point to one disturbing truth: we are being observed, whether by intelligence that spans galaxies or forces we cannot comprehend. The universe has noticed us, and in the stillness that follows each signal, we are reminded that we are not alone. The signals may never explain themselves. They may never speak clearly. They may never come again, but they have left one message unmistakable. Listen, pay attention. We are here, and we are watching. As we continue to gaze at the stars, the question remains: will we ever truly understand these cosmic whispers? Or will they continue to haunt us forever?